on Friday afternoon, the topic of hiring a sales force that sells profitably. One of the big issues we have is getting people to do the job we need done the way we want to get it done. Give you just a little background about my first digital press in 1995. I had the opportunity to hire and fire people over the years, and I've come to some ideas and some thoughts that have really helped me streamline my hiring process to get good people on board, and we are just having banner years now. Things are really clicking for us. So what I want to share with you is some ideas I have, but to give you an idea of what's at stake on this type of thing and hiring, is it heard some numbers that cost me about $500,000 every time I make a bad hire in sales. Now this comes from obviously what I could be paying a recruiter to help me find these people. It could be coming from the dollars I'm paying this person. It could be business I'm losing because customers just don't care for this person. It's other things that are happening internally because maybe this person's not fitting into what I need to have done or fitting in with his associates. This doesn't include time or money for nights I lose sleep or the gray hairs that I'm getting. So there's a lot of cost associated with this, and we really need to think of it as hard dollars because, folks, it really is. So I'm going to share some ideas with you on how to hire the right people. You're going to walk away from this with 2 tips. If you want the rest of them, you've got to come to the seminar or the session on Friday afternoon, the 23rd. So traditionally, if we just hire or just interview somebody, we have about a 16% chance of doing it right. That's less than 1 in 5. And if you think about it, that's just a lot of gray hairs. And if we do the next step of checking the references, obviously we increase our chances a little better. Okay, if we do some profiling, it helps us a little more. But if we can do simulation interviewing, that gets us where we want to go, or at least gets us as close as we can be. Gets us a little over 70%, so about 3 out of 4 times. This way, what we're trying to do is determine, is this person going to be able to do the job I need done the way I need it done? And is he or she going to fit in to what we're going to be doing? You know, when you talk to people out there that are trying to find sales positions, especially if they're not employed, they're going to tell you, or at least what I've found anyway, is that they make about $100,000 a year. And when I ask why they're on the market, I'm going to hear, well, the company I was with couldn't deliver the product I needed on time. It couldn't deliver at the price my customer is willing to pay. It couldn't deliver a quality product. It was never the salesperson's fault. And depending on the mood I'm in that day, and I am 3/4 Irish, and maybe that's part of it, I have to ask this person I'm talking to on the phone, is the company still in business? And he says, yes. I said, okay. Does he still have salespeople working for them? Yeah. Okay, well then, how comes those people are being successful and you're no longer there? Because oftentimes these unemployed people, it's never their fault. It's always somebody else's. We would call that being below the line. Above the line, I'm taking responsibility. Below the line, it's somebody else's fault. Unfortunately, these people that aren't good in sales have had a variety of job interviews. So what they are good at is interviewing. My worst hire ever was my best interviewer, and he was good. Learned a lot from that man. And the only guy I ever had was negative sales. I'm going to try to show you how to avoid some of that. Unfortunately, when somebody leaves us unexpectedly, I've got to fill that spot now. And I've made the mistake over the years of, okay, Joe's gone. Oh, Mary's available. Mary's a friend. Mary's a friend of a friend. Okay, Mary, do you want this? And she says, yes. I give her the spot. And I've made that mistake. And I haven't really put her through the right process. And the reality of it is that's not fair to Mary or my company, my associates, anybody else around the business. It just is not a good idea, but I've made that mistake of just throwing somebody in there. We want to be sure we're going to bring in a person that will fit into what we need to have done and get it done the way we want it done. We are going to do a traditional phone screen. Once I've got the resumes in and I've spread the word through a variety of mediums, some through customers, some through prospects, obviously in some of the job boards and sort of thing. But we will do the phone screen. And as part of that, I will tell the applicant right up front, I'm expecting this conversation to take 10 to 15 minutes when we're talking on the phone. And as they're telling me their life story, one of the little nuggets I'm really watching for is, so what were you doing last year? And they'll tell me, oh, I was with ABC Company. Okay, great. A little history on that. And I'll ask them, well, how much you make? And they'll give me a number. And let's just use $100,000. What you did the year before? Well, I was still with ABC Company, and I made $100,000 that year. Great. Okay, how about before that? Well, I was with the EFG Company, and there I made $100,000 also. Great. Listen to a little more background, a little more about what they do, maybe a little more of their closing style. Then when we conclude the interview, what I'll say to them is, just so I have it right, Joe, you made $100,000 a year for each of the last 3 years, 2 years being at ABC and 1 year at EFG. And they will usually confirm those numbers. My real goal here is to confirm the numbers they previously told me. I will then tell them something to the effect of, Joe, I'm interviewing about 20 people this week, and I'm looking to bring in 5 next week. If I call you back by 1 o'clock on Friday, you're going to be one of those 5. Is that okay? And usually they just say yes. What I'm really looking for is that person to say, Bob, that's great, but what can I do to be sure I'm one of those 5? Bob, what have I said that maybe has me sitting on the fence with you that I can get me on to the side of the fence that's going to be on your team? I am looking for a bit of pushback. I'm looking for somebody to reach out and pull me in and say, Bob, I want to be one of those 5. What do I have to do to make that happen? So after I go through the variety of phone screens, maybe I selected this individual to come in. Now notice a series of these little call-outs here. I'm going to call the person up and say, for example, hey, Joe, are you available to come in to meet with me at 10 o'clock on Tuesday for an interview? And assuming that time works out, they say yes. I'll say, great, Joe. When you come in, tell you what I'd like you to do. I would like you to present me your current product, which, think about it, they should know and be very proficient in presenting that product. But to make it easier on them, I will say, Joe, and I always use Joe and Mary when I talk, because as common as those names are, I don't have those 2 people working for me. But I'll say, Joe, you can position me, tell me why I would have you come in, who I am as the buyer, what my problems are, what my needs are, and why I want to talk with you over potentially another supplier. So you can really script who I'm going to be. Joe, does that sound okay with you? And he will say, yes, it does. I say, great. So we're set for Tuesday at 10 o'clock. He'll say, yeah. I said, good. Joe, one other thing. When we talked the other day, you mentioned to me that you made $100,000 a year each of the last 3 years of these various companies. And he'll say, yeah. Okay. Again, I verified the numbers he gave me, let's say, the week before. Joe, when you come in, do me a favor and bring your last 3 years of W-2s. And then I pause. What I'm watching for now is, does the guy say, sure, not a problem at all? Or does he say, well, did I say 100,000? Did I really say 100? Well, I've already asked him 3 times. He's confirmed the numbers then. Now all of a sudden, when the rubber meets the road, he's got to prove it. And if he starts backpedaling or telling me maybe I misunderstood, I said, hey, what, Joe, it seems like there's some issues here. Why don't we just cancel the interview? Because if he's going to start lying to me before he walks in the door, you know I'm going to have problems with him down the road. So by letting him present his product, and he's confirmed everything, and then by verifying his income, I can very easily determine if I'm going to have a good person, or at least a person I want to take on to the next steps. So what I've shared with you is really 2 points right here that you need to take away from this one. Don't be afraid to ask for W-2 information, but do it casually so the person can just tell you what they think is coming from the heart there. But also, have them do a presentation of their current product. They should be proficient at it. They should be strong when they do it, and make an overall good presentation. I am looking forward to seeing you at Dscoop Friday afternoon, 4:45, for about a 45-minute presentation. Any questions, comments before then, feel free to give me a call or look for me at Dscoop. Again, my name is Bob Scherer. My company is CL&D Digital. Thank you.